Warning, this content is for entertainment and educational purposes only. What's up, everybody?
What's happening?
Morning.
Yo.
Nothing much. Another week. Went to the Commanders game last weekend. That was fun. It was not fun watching them get blown out by the Packers on Thursday night, though.
Oof.
That was a rough game.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal. They got their asses handed to them. I was riding high after the Giants game, and then the Packers just went in and they also demolished Detroit. So maybe the Packers are just that good this year. I don't know. I can't decide if we're. What's that, Justin?
Defense might be.
I don't think your microphone's working right. I think you're not connected. But yeah, Michael Parsons, or as Jerry Jones calls him, Michael Parsons, demolished our rookie right tackle. Made that guy look stupid. It was pretty bad. I felt bad for the kid. You could see the look on his face. He was just like getting smacked around by, it's like somebody getting in the ring with primetime Mike Tyson that doesn't know how to fight.
Well, he gets paid the big bucks.
Yeah, I'm like, why don't they help this kid out, man? He's over there getting smoked.
Yeah. Did you see what Jerry Jones said about the contract talks before Micah got switched over? He was pretty much cussing out the whole team and calling them all out on their performance.
Well,
You saw it. It was pretty amusing.
I think it's pretty well established that dude's fucking senile at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry to say it, Amy. I know you're a Cowboys fan.
I am, but that's all right. I am not disagreeing with the Jerry Jones ability to effectively manage things. He's an owner, but he's trying to be a manager always, and it has not gone well for the last decade.
Yeah.
I can tell you from firsthand experience that owners that like to meddle in their businesses never do so in the appropriate way, usually. Yeah. I dealt with that myself. I guess I'm no longer employed there, so it doesn't matter. But it's always hard running a business when somebody's looking over your shoulder.
Snyder.
I don't know if Jerry's on Dan Snyder level. That was he was going to talk about meddling. I guess it's not any sort of secret, but Colin's sister used to. I think she interned or worked for the Redskins when he was there. But anyway, Dan Snyder would order coffee for everybody in the morning, but he would make everybody drink a grande from Starbucks, and he was the only one allowed to get a venti. That's kind of petty asshole he was. I know another person.
I'm going to be the most caffeinated.
I know a person that worked there too, and said that unless he talked to you first, you weren't allowed to look at him or talk to him. That was like the rule, and then you had to address him as Mr. Snyder. That was how you had to talk to him.
Oh, lovely.
Good times.
Yeah. Well, thank God he's fucking gone now. The new ownership group seems a lot better.
Yeah.
Anyway, is this a football podcast or bodybuilding?
I mean, it is Sunday. We got to talk
It is
about it
Sunday.
a little.
I do love football. God damn, I love football.
So good that it's back. It's like, I'll take fall if it means we get football back.
Football and bodybuilding, those are two of my favorite things in life. I love playing.
Right now.
I love playing basketball, but I'm not big on watching it. But God damn, I love football. That stadium though, I was over there last weekend. It's terrible. Holy shit, we need a new stadium. It's like potholes everywhere in the parking lot. The stadium's like they got parts of the stadium quarantined off because it's like falling apart.
Wow.
Literally,
What I
like
heard is they put that on a fast track, didn't they, for the new stadium?
they're trying to. Well, where the old stadium is, the old RFK. It's behind Capitol Hill. It's in downtown DC, and it's federally owned land. But the federal government reverted control over it back over to the DC, I think, for like the next 50 years or some shit like that, to pave the way for putting the new stadium down there. But the DC City Council is just kind of holding it hostage. I'm sure there's some people on there that the DC City government's well known for being very corrupt. I'm sure there's somebody there. There's some couple people on the council that are trying to get their pockets lined, get some favors done before they sign off on it. So yeah, it's being held hostage right now. I wish they would just bring it out here to Virginia, where I live. I live like a mile away from the training facility. It's literally right down the street from me. But they want the state. I get why they want to put the stadium in the city, because we're like our metropolitan area. It's like a big donut. And DC is the donut hole in the center of it. You know, we Maryland on one side and DC in the middle and Virginia on the other side of the Potomac. And DC is just this little donut hole in the middle. I mean, it's really tiny. It's actually a really tiny town. The majority of the population live in the suburbs. I think there's only like 400,000 people that live downtown.
That's not the first time I've heard the city of DC referenced as a whole.
It's a mess, man. It's I love the town. I lived here my whole life. I mean, it's my whole adult life anyway. It's my hometown, but it's the area is a bit of the downtown area at least is a little messy. The suburbs are decent, but where the stadium at it. Go ahead.
I enjoyed it when we visited.
Yeah, it's a cool town. Where the stadium is at, it's really in an obscure spot. It's over in like this weird place over in Maryland where there's just nothing around it. They put it over and like nobody lives over there. It's just a weird spot. There's no restaurants, there's no bars, there's nothing near the stadium. I mean, it's just out in the middle of fucking nowhere. And it's just they've not maintained it, and it's just falling apart. And it's just time to be. They just need to put a stick of dynamite in there and blow that fucking place up and move it downtown. But with that said, you know, tickets are still $400.
Man,
Yeah.
Beautiful city to visit. Yeah, it's the touristy areas are nice. There's parts of the city that, it's just like any other big city. There's bad parts. But it is my hometown. I do love it.
A lot of people in DC want to borrow a penny from you all the time.
Oh yeah. That we were downtown when Dave was here, and the guy come up and asked me, he's like, "Hey, you got a penny?" And I'm like, "Get the fuck out of here, man." I know that game. They ask you for a penny.
Is that?
Oh, they wait for you to get your wallet out, and they grab your wallet and run off with it. Yeah. Yeah, it's the game they play downtown. The guy got like little dude too. He got like all hostile with me. I'm like, get the fuck away from me, man.
I know what is. Like, he picks you and me to ask to try and steal our wallet.
He's like, you think you're better than me? And I'm like motherfucker.
And it starts out with, "Can I get a penny?"
Yeah, you got a penny to spare?
He had an Australian accent too. Yeah, he sounded like he was an Aussie.
Maybe that's why he was asking for a penny. If he was American, he'd know that we don't carry pennies.
For real.
I would have loved to have had a penny in my pocket and just put it in his hand.
Yep,
And yeah, I've been at Penny since 1987.
Your microphone's still not working,
No, that's
Justin.
why I haven't been talking. I don't know if you can hear me at all, but we lost power, and every time I do, I have to like unplug everything and plug it back in. I can't figure out what happens, but it's showing that everything's working. But I know this happens.
Yeah, it sounds like you're in a
Oh,
tin
no.
can.
Yeah,
We can hear you. You're just echoey.
yeah. It's going through my focus right. This happened, I don't know, a couple months ago on this too. So I can't remember how I fixed it.
Yeah, Nick Flynn said he lived in Nova for almost 20 years. I hate FedEx Field. Not only that, it's just the traffic getting over there. It took me 2 hours just to get out of the fucking parking lot after the game.
No.
Yeah, something like
Yeah.
that. An hour and a half, 2 hours. Yeah, it was pretty nutty. But yeah, I had a good time. I shouldn't complain. The game itself was a lot of fun. Being around the fans and being back in football.
Oh,
Should we talk about some bodybuilding?
Yes.
Got a show going on today.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's the
It's-
comeback. Urs looked really fucking good last week, man. I was like
Crazy.
surprised how good he looked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Huge.
great peak, good condition. I mean,
Yeah.
it was really hard to poke a lot at him, other than maybe the detail and amount of depth to his back. But
Dude, he
other
was
than that,
hanging
it was
yeah,
phenomenal.
big time. I mean, with Quentin and like Sergio, like he looked amazing.
That's a tough transition too, to do all that in one show. So he probably didn't nail it. So I'm curious
Oh,
what
yeah.
the second show at the heavier weight, because like he's probably panicking. You see your weight 40 pounds heavier than you used to competing. You think there's no way I can be in shape. So I would bet it feels like there's a real high probability he's going to be even dramatically better again the next time.
Yeah, I don't know, Justin, if you saw he actually had posted some pictures of like for upcoming for Germany from like last week to like yesterday.
Yeah.
He looked quite a bit more
I was
conditioned.
just
even.
talking to
Yeah,
someone
yeah,
about
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
This
Oh.
was last week. Or is this today? No, this was last week.
No, it was last week.
Yeah, I mean, I was Quinn, like he just like looked soft.
He
Yeah.
he was looking a little washed out, especially in the upper body.
Yeah, I agree.
He just I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. I mean, he just like never. If the dude could nail down his conditioning, he'd be. I don't know if many people could stop that guy.
Dude,
Well, looks to
Quentin's-
be some discrepancies from his upper body to his lower body too, because I mean, it seems like his lower body's gotten a little harder and a little bit deeper lines, and there's really not much going on his chest and shoulders. Still pretty round and not a lot of striations or hardness, kind of detail coming out into it. No matter what he does, it looks like it just gets smaller when he tries to get tighter.
I think this picture will tell you what you need to know about Urz's upgrade. I love that dude.
Markus Ruhl.
Oh my god, smoking cigarettes, eating chicken wings, farting. I mean, like that dude. The dude is the greatest, man. He is. How he's still alive is beyond me.
Yeah, and he never
It just-
ate any fat. He never added fats at all to his diet, as lean as can be.
He did eat a lot of fast food, so I think there were some added fats in there.
Yeah, I guess.
He might not have added fats to his regular meals, but when he was hitting the fried chicken, smoking cigarettes and doing squats, smoking cigarettes between sets, that's hilarious.
Was he doing all that during prep? No.
Markus Ruhl, I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, I'm old, man. I remember I bought his video.
If
Yeah.
you're smoking though, it's probably not a part-time deal. You probably do that year round.
Yeah, that's just true. Yeah, that's true.
Him smoking cigarettes is hilarious. I mean, he was just kind of. Let me see if I can find a video of it. It's dude was always smoking cigarettes and eating a bunch of trash food. I mean, dude was fucking hilarious. I'm trying to find. Here it is. Hang on. Let me see if I can mute this. Well, it's not going to mute it, but
So feuerfrei.
there we go.
Wie schädlich ist Rauchen beim Training?
Also Rauchen ist generell schädlich, nicht nur beim Training, ne? Aber mein Gott, das Leben ist kurz.
But that's Markus Ruhl.
Man, that's a secret, man. The nicotine.
That's how you stay lean.
That's how you stay lean, man.
I think I think nicotine, other than like the GLP stuff, is the best appetite suppressant for me.
Mm.
I mean, it's not what I recommend because you don't want, we're already on enough stuff. I don't need to get guys addicted to nicotine, but if they're already using it, it is helpful.
Here's some Markus Ruhl diet for you, Dave. I don't think there's zero fat in here.
Oh shit! What the hell? Oh wow! Look at that bowl of rice, man.
Wait for the ending. The ending's great. Let's see if they.
Oh my
Does he eat a person at the end?
Oh yes, it's the beer.
What is he even drinking? It looks just like a case
beer.
of olive oil.
Oh.
It looks like me in Italy.
Yeah. So I wonder if Earl's got on the Markus bulk.
Man,
His old school video is just, it's hilarious. And then like him in the grocery store, everybody's staring at him. It's just hilarious.
Marty said he looked AI before AI existed.
Oh my god!
The lady.
Man.
Makes
I love
everything look tiny.
I love his sense of humor. Just that's my kind of dude. That's a dude I would like to hang out with.
With Urs, you wonder how much these guys, when they transition so well into open, like how much have they been holding it back at the gate?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For a long time, it seems like, because he just, as soon as you pop the gate open, he just grew.
Here you go. Here's his bulking plan with oh my god, tuna fish in the blender.
Oh.
Gross.
Oh.
Salt. What is that?
Hot
Tomato
sauce.
paste? Hot sauce? Oh, gross.
What?
Is that on the diet?
Thumbs up. Thumbs
Is
up.
that on the diet plan, Justin?
no.
Why not?
Blended tuna.
No, that's like the blended chicken. You can convince yourself, chicken noodle soup isn't all that different. But I haven't had tuna noodle soup, so
Tuna noodle soup.
Oh man, it seems like Urs has been hanging out with Markus.
It's working.
Yeah, I know Roman had mentioned that Urs had reached out to him like a couple weeks ago and was like, I'm 30 pounds over stage weight with shredded glutes. Like, what should I do?
Oh, man.
smile.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't think you're classic anymore, my friend.
Yeah.
Did you see Roman's physique update from this morning?
No.
It's very classic Roman. It's on his stories here. I'll see if I can share it.
Let me see if I can pull him up. Instagram is just not working for me today.
There we go. You guys see that? That's what he posted as his form update from this morning.
I also noticed he posted the Bonne Maman jam. That's my favorite on the high days.
Oh yeah, yep. That was his carb up.
Yeah, that stuff is great.
It's funny. We know that brand because they sell it at Costco or whatever. But when you go to France and you walk into the grocery store, they have like a whole Bonne Maman section of everything. They make peanut butter. They make all kinds of stuff.
That's awesome, man. I love I get the Costco jars. We got the giant American sized jars. The professional obese people jars.
Yeah, that and the Haribos.
Yeah, you mean the selection in Europe? Yeah, there's like so many options.
Yeah, Roman had those things when he was on a couple weeks ago. I'd never seen those fucking things before. The crunchy Haribos.
Crunchy hair.
Well, they
Berries?
have little nonpareils on the outside of them, so they're like almost like a gumdrop on the inside, but then they're covered in nonpareils, so they have like a crunch on the outside. Oh my gosh, they're so
wow.
delicious.
The Haribo berries. That's what it is.
Yeah, they're so
I'd never seen
good.
those. I'd never seen those before.
Dang. Where do they sell that?
I've never seen them in the grocery store here.
Well, I may or may not have smuggled a few things back from Europe. Some contraband Haribo.
There you
Those are
go.
the ones. Mhm.
Crunchy and
Oh, they're
chewy.
so good.
Damn.
That's high day approved, right, Justin?
For starters, for sure, if you can stand the smell. Some of those Haribos smell like armpit.
I feel like, Justin, this is like your thoughts about the Haribo smell is like how people feel about cilantro.
Well, I don't. It's not every bag, but I remember one time my daughter had some, and I grabbed the bag, and it was like pulling a fart over my face, and I'm like, what? And then it's happened a couple other times. So then I went online and searched, and that's I'm not alone in the armpit Haribo. So apparently, it's not every bag, but it's. Unless I dreamt all that, but if anyone's got something, I'm doing it, I'm finding it.
Haribo.
Yeah, my Haribo gummies smell like ass.
Yeah, here's somebody. The Haribo. Some people report that Haribo gummies smell like cannabis.
Yeah.
Like cannabis.
Well, they got me called because I had cannabis in it.
Oh, maybe that's what
I
that's
think
related.
company probably makes gummies, THC gummies.
Well, I would imagine if that glucose gets hot, that shit could start to ferment.
Yeah.
If it's been sitting in a hot delivery truck or in a hot stock room, I mean, maybe.
It could be an age-related thing. You're getting the dry-aged Haribo.
Yeah.
Dry aged.
It turns into hooch after a while. Tanya, if they had weed in them, I'd actually want them.
I
want
not like Haribo.
There you go, Mike. Your next product.
Yeah.
Crunchy
gummies
weed
are
gummies.
the top-selling edible, and edibles are the fastest-growing industry segment for sure.
That's if I'm gonna go that way, that's all I do anymore is edibles.
Yeah, and a bag of Haribo is a great way to smuggle them into another country. Just if you've ever need to do that.
I've been taking a THC vacation. I was like having a lot of anxiety, and I think I was taking a few too many gummies, and I've been off of them for about 3 weeks now, and it seems my anxiety has calmed down. So I think there was a correlation there.
Damn.
I usually only use them at night. It helps me relax to go to sleep because I just like my brain just doesn't fucking shut down.
I can't remember.
like
I was listening to a podcast this week, and they were talking about posing, and that like the one guy was saying he only ever poses high, like that like
Only high. So he has to
Yeah.
compete high then.
yes, he would. He'd bring his
Yeah.
pen with him backstage because like he'd gotten so used to like it was the
Damn, yeah.
only way that he could pose, like and like really like kind of relax and get into it. But then he realized that like he was so dependent on it that like at his show he still needed to be able to like
Oh my god.
remember his routine.
I mean, you ever seen William Bonac on stage? That motherfucker is blazed up.
Is he? Yeah.
Oh my
I
god!
didn't even
A
notice
lot
that.
of them are. That's a real common thing.
Look at this motherfucker. That's a man who don't give a fuck. Good for him. Yeah, I love William. Yeah, I heard some stories that he was backstage blazing it up before the Detroit Pro.
Oh really? That's
Yeah.
a show he won too, right? Yeah, he won.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
won
yeah.
the Detroit Pro, yeah.
Well, whatever he's doing is working. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
everybody's doing honey and gummy bears backstage. William's blazing it up.
Damn. He's looking for the eyes.
I love this one. Oh man, I know that look well. Oh man, yeah, I think that's some of the best bodybuilders were stoners, right?
Yeah. almost by definition. I mean, that type of person, anyways, like that, just kind of loose, laid back.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Back to the gummies and anxiety, though, Paul. That's why a lot of the strain specific stuff has become very popular, because if people are just homogenizing it from whatever plant material they can get their hands on to make it, then you can end up with like some sativa variants in there, which will have a different sort of high than like an indica. So, you know, based on that, if you get a strain specific and you know it's 100% indica, you're less likely to have any sort of anxiety with it.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
like
think-
yeah.
Go ahead.
Like you're pretty prone to like anxiety. I feel
Yeah, I mean, I have a low level of anxiety to begin with, and it's just like some things exacerbate it,
like.
like Tren and
EQ,
Deca,
right?
and no, EQ doesn't seem
No,
to bother me.
does it? No.
Mm-mm. I know Justin and I have talked about the EQ thing before. I have my theories about it, although nobody ever talked about it until somebody brought it up, and then now
Yeah,
everybody's
you
got
can tell me what
EQ.
the side effects are, and I'll tell you what year we're in. Before
Although-
2000, it was useless. From 2000 to 2005, it was only good for increasing appetite and red blood cells. But the next decade, it was decent, but kind of too weak to do much. Then it was good, almost like an AI. Then it suddenly caused anxiety. So it went full circle from not being worth it, doesn't do anything, to don't touch it, you'll have anxiety.
Dude, what
And now-
causes that? Yeah.
Now everybody's running it because it's the only thing you can get.
Yeah.
Yeah. Poor man's primo, right?
Poor man's primo. Yep.
Yeah.
There's no primo or master on right now. I just had another client with fake master on.
Oh.
What was it?
Test probe?
Test probe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least that's my speculation. But
Probably is.
yeah, I mean, you can tell by, estrogen levels being high and testosterone levels being high. I'm like, yep.
I'm surprised more people don't use like a really long ester for like testosterone, like decanoate or like undecanoate, just to kind of like level things out more. Like, how come more people don't do that? Is there like
I
a
think
reason?
when you get to dose, I mean, you kind of have people using manageable doses, and then the people using like big doses are kind of already doing pretty frequent injections. They're not doing once a week. You're not pinning 1.5 grams once a week, or maybe you are, but that's a big pin. So
Yeah,
so
true.
This guy, I think a lot of it gets, but that was kind of a thing for a little bit.
was it?
Sometimes
Yeah.
he was making the really long acting that I can't remember the ester now, for a little bit, when underground labs were kind of first coming out, when we went from Mexico and Romania to UGL, like in the mid 2000s range, kind of. I remember someone was doing one. I thought it seems like if you made it strong, you probably still want to do other stuff around it, but it would be a nice stable base.
Yeah, I mean that's what I imagine most people want, just like that clean line, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's in the TRT world, there's Nebido, which I believe is undecanate.
Yeah.
Because they
Do a lot
that.
of people use that?
Yeah, I mean, because it's supposed to be one shot every 2 months, right? I think is how they do it.
It's that long of an ester? One shot every 2 months?
Yeah, let me look it up. Extended dosing interval, slow release action allows for dosing schedule once every 10 to 14 weeks. There you go.
Whoa.
Wow.
Nebido.
That is slow.
Yep.
God damn.
Well, the problem with that is like if you need to
Get off.
make adjustments, like
yeah, you're pretty
you
much
got
stuck.
an estrogen issue or anything like that, then you're kind of screwed.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, I could see how that would lead to guys just chasing. If you did have side effects, you were then just chasing those side effects with other substances throughout that time period, when unnecessarily, perhaps, because you couldn't get it out of your system. So then you're having to add something else to manage this, and then
it's a good point. Yeah,
kind of chase it a little.
I've just always done.
My experience has always been that the shorter the ester, the fewer the side effects.
Really? I would think the longer the ester, the fewer the side effects, because the more stable line. But I guess it depends on frequency of pinning. But
Yeah, Ryan said, yeah, Navito is pretty popular in the EU. I see a lot of my EU clients that are on it through their doctors for TRT. I've also seen like people, their blood panels when they're on it, and they seem to crash towards the back half of it. Like it comes up and then it comes down, and then it's just like people feel like dog shit on it. I've always run Enanthate. I don't know, you know.
Yeah, I mean that's the normal. Enanthate or like SIP, right? That's what most people do.
Yeah. I know Kurt was working on a study. I don't know what came out of it about SIP and it not having as strong of a peak as Enanthate, but you know, I don't know. In my experience, they're pretty much interchangeable.
Yeah, did he ever confirm that? I remember he mentioned something about like your body can only create so much the enzyme that like cleaves the cypionate.
Yeah, I don't know that they have finished. I mean, studies take fucking forever to get.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
They got to go through peer review and then get published, and then sometimes you have to appeal. You know, so I don't know where it's at.
Yeah.
Last I heard, they were in the peer review process. So.
Yeah. Yeah, that was what I had heard too. So
he hasn't like divulged any of that information to you guys. I'm just saying.
No, I haven't really talked to him a lot lately. I know he's been super busy. I mean, we talk, but it's usually just about life stuff.
Oh, fair,
yeah, we don't really talk about steroids.
Fair.
It's funny, like everybody assumes that like, you know, the steroid stuff gets views, but they assume that we just sit around and pontificate cycles all the time. I'm like I really don't think that much about it. I mean, I do think a lot about diet. I've been thinking more about training lately. Now I'm recovering from an injury, but I really don't put that a lot of thought. It's funny, everybody gets obsessed with cycles, and like I just basically run the same fucking thing all the time. If I'm on, it's just test primo, some GH, and a little insulin here and there. That's it.
Tried and true. Yeah, tried and true.
That's it.
Well, how's that injury, anyways, with your elbow, Paul? Is it feeling better?
Oh, you mean the numbness in my finger?
Yeah, you said you were having shooting pain through like the cubital.
You know, I went in this week and I don't know how, but I did dry needling with electrostim, the physical therapist did, and it's gone.
Oh, dude, awesome. Yeah, so usually just loosens up muscle tone. So did he do it around your tricep, I'm guessing?
They did my fucking shoulder, my lat, my trap, my bicep, my tricep. They did everything.
Yeah. Oh, dude, yeah. So they ran the whole gamut on you.
Yeah, she went through and she was just having fun with it. Man, when she did my trap, I was like, holy fuck, man! I could feel it unrolling. Like it was just.
That stuff's awesome. I
was pretty skeptical about it, and like she tested my range of motion before.
Oh yeah, big
and after, and it was pretty significant difference. Before and after, I went ahead and signed up for another session.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'm glad it helped, man.
She's like, "You're very dense. I'm gonna have to get the bigger needles out."
Dude, those needles are so small though, man. They're like
she got longer ones. Yeah,
oh, dude, they get it like super long. Yeah, especially the glute ones. Holy cow, they're like ginormous, dude.
Yeah, she got the longer ones out, but yeah, it was. I'm gonna do another session. So, but that's feeling better, and
awesome.
I'm like slowly ramping up my training because I will be at 6 months, October 15th, which is supposedly when I get the green light to start really ramping things up. So I'll actually do a check-in with Justin for the first time in a year.
All right.
I have been on no structured diet whatsoever. I've been on the I did kind of start measuring and weighing shit last week again just to get myself in the habit, but that lasted for about 4 days. And then I'm back to eating.
Like all or nothing. I mean, either I'm doing everything, or I can't half the diet. It's A or B with me. I mean,
same thing with me.
Not like eat garbage, but either I'm like eating at a planned time, weighing my stuff out, or I'm trying to eat good, but I'm not doing any of that.
I feel like I'm still pretty lean. I'm just not eating enough, man. I maybe eat 3 or 4 times a day is what I've been doing. The Troponin IQ told me I needed to ease back into things.
It's
Start off with one high day a week, Paul. And
That's funny. Some of the things like that, with some of the things you find, and you think like, geez, why did would I say that? I mean, that probably is what I'd say. But you learn. I say things differently for like new clients than I do experienced clients. And IQ's still kind of learning that. Eventually it'll kind of understand that you're advanced and that we would treat things differently than we would if you were a newer guy or. So it's we're still finding things like that, and you don't even realize it when you're coaching, the little things that you kind of have to do differently depending on the person's skill level and ability level that that you do without thinking, but a computer doesn't think. It just I saw a quote on that actually about AI, and it was someone kind of like just not even being serious, but they were like, everyone's all getting worked up about all these stupid things, and no one's even talking about the fact that we taught rocks to think.
I know that.
Silicon. So it's like, geez Louise, no kidding.
Yeah, it's copper and gold and
silicon rocks to think for us. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, that is wild. I listened to a podcast this week about AI induced psychosis, like how people and like I didn't even think about this, like how people are like developing relationships with AI and communicating with it.
Yeah,
I can only imagine what like a ChatGPT is getting, because like mine is specific just for fitness, so it seems like you can't get too like you can't stumble into alien discussions or things because it won't answer you. But we've got people that some of the feedback we're already getting where you're like, wow, this person's clearly something's not right. Is this like a lifetime thing with them, or the way they're talking to Troponin IQ? Is this what's happening to them? Because I'll talk like they're really talking to me, and they don't seem to understand that I won't know the discussions, or they'll get mad if Troponin IQ doesn't like. If it ended like if they went on a long chat with hundreds of prompts and it was really friendly by the end, and they kind of had this like thought they're getting this relationship, and they log in the next time with a new chat where Troponin IQ then starts from scratch, and the only base knowledge is my knowledge, and the only base knowledge of the user is what they have in their profile. Chat knowledge is kept as local knowledge. Otherwise, it would just because then you want to be able to ask it questions, rhetorical type questions, because you'd ask it and then it would assume that was a permanent knowledge base for you. And so when you come back after that and it doesn't answer as your best friend, all of a sudden like they get like weird about it. If you don't even know how to respond, you have to be like, well, that's not me talking to you. It's not anyone talking to you. You explain, when you start a new chat, it starts at baseline. It knows you from your profile. If it's really well, it's like covered, it'll know you really well. But it doesn't know if you asked it a bunch of weird things or told it about your sister last night. It's trained to not keep that in permanent memory unless you put it in your profile. But people, it's and then they don't like that because they think like I'm being a dick and choosing not to remember what we were our deep conversations we had last night. It's interesting.
Wow. Yeah, they were talking about in this podcast I was listening to. They were talking about some dude that it was having this conversation about somebody hacking the NSA, and like he had convinced himself, and then the ChatGPT told him that he should go report it to the authorities, and he was like calling up the fucking NSA. They ended up arresting him. They ended up coming to his house and arresting him. But they were basically talking about like it's like trained, like the way the system is set up is to basically like not offend you and to sort of basically send you positive, I guess.
Well, you can massage all that the way it responds. Like mine is, we train Troponin IQ to be like direct, not combative, but not agreeable. But a lot of them are trained to be agreeable. There's not like combative. You don't go on there and like have arguments with it. You can almost talk it into it, agreeing with everything you say, which is when it gets really bad. Because then when people start asking questions about weird conspiracies and stuff, and they're getting worked up, like the AI is trying to be appeasing and not get them worked out, and kind of semi-agreeing with them, and say like, you can even, if you try, yeah, that's a good point. We haven't we haven't gone down that path. Would you, you can even think of the way it talks. Like, yeah, it's not saying no, that's stupid. It's saying, yeah, there's some weird stuff on the internet about that. If you'd like to cover it, but so you can really walk it into basically whatever you want because it's trained to not be overly combative.
Yeah, and that's what they were saying, that it was like people that are prone to psychosis, that it was feeding the psychosis. People that were narcissists, that it was feeding narcissism. And it was, I have a couple of people that come to mind when I think about that, but there's, it just, there was some, it was very, 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 very interesting. And they said that when they rolled out 5, that they dialed a lot of that back. And people were super upset when they rolled 5 out. Like there were a lot of people that were really fucking pissed off. Their friend was gone.
Yeah, well, you could. I mean, someone's going to exploit that. We could with ours. I could start another one right now that is excessively agreeable, and we just say we want to capture as much use time and then chances to make money off them as possible. So just make them think they're the smartest person in the world. Everything they say is brilliant and the greatest. And I mean, wouldn't it be hard to do that? And it's not hard to do that because the computer's processing. Like some of these mega servers are doing like pentaflops per second of data processing, compute. And so they can, like, what might be difficult for us to process in real time is nothing for the computer. So that they'll know how to massage. It'll massage you just right. So it never technically says anything incorrect, but always makes you think you are correct somehow. And you could get probably, the CIA is probably, now that you're talking about that, I'm sure they're doing that with people right now.
Oh, I was just thinking about how you could manipulate people on social media with something like that. I mean, fuck, people believe every meme they see.
Yeah.
Much less interacting with an AI account.
Every AI video. I see you go on there. Facebook's the worst. I never get on there, but sometimes I'll get on there and just try to find. As soon as I see someone talking about like ChatGPT, they don't understand any of it. They buy into everything. Or they're sharing AI like video memes, and they're not even good ones. It's like a dolphin turning into a shark and then turning into a gorilla and then like winning a baseball game. And do you believe that? Can you see what just happened? Harold, that's not what listen, Phyllis, I know it looked like a shark came out of the water with a baseball bat, but it's not
people believe what they want to see.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, they definitely. All right, we want to get some questions. I didn't mean to turn this into a computer science discussion, but it is my background.
Oh, we have lots of good questions. Were you going to say something, Wade, before I start asking the questions?
No, you're good.
Okay. All right. So we had a bunch of questions about skin tightening. So starting off, I'm going to read a couple. So we had this one from Donnie. Thoughts on exosomes for skin tightening? Seems to have great success overseas. Now, Larry wanted to ask about GHK-Cu worth using. What dosage? He feels like he's looking like an anorexic Shar-Pei when he cuts down.
Larry just needs to eat more. That's Larry's problem. I've told Larry that. Just eat more, dude.
Yeah. What do you guys think about exosomes and GHK-Cu?
I have just started using GHK-Cu, mainly for, I get, what is it, Glow? It's a combination of GHK-Cu, BPC, and TB500. I've been using it on my shoulder. I don't know. I'll tell you later. I don't know. Chase had some pretty profound before and after pictures of, I guess, from guys on his member site or whatever it is that he has, where guys were posting skin tightening from GHK-Cu, but GHK-Cu.
Really?
I'm curious on the ages. Was it elderly? Was it
younger guy?
Older?
He's a younger guy. Yeah, I think as you get older, there's not a lot you can do.
Yeah.
I know we shared a picture of myself using the copper for like an 8 to 10 week run, and that was I had pretty good results. It was very noticeable in the pictures, right under my belly button, some loose skin, and I used like 2.5 milligrams daily injected with my BPC, and I had a DSMO cream that I reconstituted and kind of mixed in like I think it was like a 5% concentration mixture, and I would rub that at the end of the night, just a small marble sized on my belly, and it was within 8 to 10 weeks definitely noticeable.
If people listening, this has been around forever, but I don't think anyone ever really explains it. If you have like a very small area of localized loose skin, like typically like lower abs for guys, or it's a lower back sometimes. Lower back's kind of almost too big of it. It's got to be a small area. But if you use anything, a strong topical vasoconstrictor, like you'd always have preparation H. That's like with synephrine, which is a vasoconstrictor. But if you really find any vasoconstrictive type, if you could get like the epinephrine, or is that what they do to before when they like inject you after they numb you for like any dental procedure or anything like that to basically shut down the blood flow to that area? You could do that also. It's got to be a small area, because you're basically shrinking blood vessels so that all fluid and stuff leaves the area. It's a pretty noticeable difference if it's a small area.
Yeah,
that would be a pretty temporary effect, though. Yeah, Justin. So you'd have to.
Yeah, but I mean, but we're talking like for a stage. Yeah.
Okay.
You got like 4 to 6
Okay.
hours. Maybe, yeah.
Dude, I've tried GHK copper, and like every time I've used it, I get like the worst irritation. Like
It's
the
painful.
site. Yeah, it's like the worst of like anything I've used, and it's made me
it's
stop it.
insane. It can be a nasty shot sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It usually goes away pretty quick, that I've noticed. Give it
Mine lasts a while, Dave. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Now
If maybe it's the brand or what.
Are you doing sub-Q or are you doing intramuscular?
Sub-Q. Do you do it intramuscular?
No, I would do sub-Q.
Yeah, I do it sub-Q.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
I
might
mean,
just be a little more prone to the
Maybe.
irritation.
Yeah.
It doesn't
I mean,
bother
I
me
don't-
at all, but it definitely, my wife gets some skin aggravation out of it for sure.
Yeah. That stuff's like super blue, right? Or like purple?
Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
mix it? Okay,
Yeah.
It's the
Just making
oxidized
sure.
copper, right?
yeah. Just making
It's
sure.
it's methylene blue urine actually.
Oh, really? Yeah, it's no kidding.
I mean, ultimately, if you're an older guy and you got a bunch of loose skin, then probably surgery is the only really option.
The surgery is getting really good. A surprisingly high number of Masters competitors, if you look, will have skin removal scars, and you can tell the ones that have had it in the last 5 years or so because it's getting so. People used to have big, thick scars across their lower abdomen. You hardly see it at all anymore. And typically, if you see like a string type tattoo in that area, that's kind of what it's covering. But they don't even need it anymore. I had one client who turned pro in women's physique after losing like 200 pounds as a 50-year-old. So that was like skin didn't tighten up at all. So you had to have surgery. You would never know. And she went to the high-end special or plastic surgeons are just a different breed. Like the people you see, like when the Kardashians or someone come out and it's like, she needs to thank her surgeon. She does, because the really good ones, it's a world of difference. Yeah, because she had removal on her lats. They did everything so it would hide behind her posing suit, which I thought was insane. I was like, there's no way they're going to get a scar to, be thin enough that it's still going to be noticeable, but it's not. She's competed as a pro multiple times. No one will ever even know. She has a lot of money, and I know she went to a very well-known plastic surgeon. But if you can find a good one, they're like magicians now.
Yeah, worth the money.
Yeah,
I had it done. I had an abdominoplasty, although I wish my guy had placed the cut a little better. But
yeah, we could do a scar revision and make that look a lot better.
Yeah,
it could look better.
Do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Justin, was your client from being overweight, or was that like a pregnancy?
Overweight. I think she was just, overweight kind of her whole life. It's like from her story, it sounded like it was typical kind of probably some level of narcissistic mother who, kind of, railed on her whole life about it, which probably sure made it worse. And then finally, it's like 50-year-old mother, never worked out in her life, decided she wanted to get in shape. She, contacted me. You get that as a coach, you get that all the time. I'm ready. It's like, I know I've heard this third time today, but something about her made me think like, man, she really does seem. She had like a real estate company. I was like, she checks the boxes as someone who, when she says she's going to put her mind to something, she's going to. And yeah, she did. And I don't know if you've ever posted the pictures or want to, but you would not believe, because it was a lot of skin. It was like when you see in the TV shows where there's like, it wasn't like loose skin. It was like, you can lift it up. So yeah. I mean, it's over 200 pounds as a 5'3" female. So
yeah, that's a lot.
Wow.
Man, if I had a nickel for every dude that came to me and said, I'll do whatever it takes to be a pro bodybuilder, and then they
Yeah,
can't make
yeah,
it through 6 weeks of a diet.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one, if you have what it takes, you'd already be doing it. I would just give you a better way to do it. But
Yeah.
that's the main thing. That's what I used to say, actually. I used to say, look, if you're going to get in shape, you're going to do it no matter what. You're going to do it with or without me. Without me, you're going to do it a really bad way, a wrong way, a much harder way. But if you're in that mindset, it's going to happen. We've all competed. We've all, especially if, like some of it, like I was chubbier growing up. If any of us grew up that way, you know that switch when it's like finally I'm not, you know, I'm done with this. And so and if someone's in that, they're either there or they're not. And if they're there, they're going to do it anyways. You're just going to make it much more effective and efficient for them. But you're not going to make someone who's not going to get in shape suddenly get in shape. You know, they have to be in the right mindset.
That's a good point.
Yeah, man, I get 1 or 2 of those every week. Bro, I'm ready to go. I'll do whatever it takes.
I'll do it.
I think when they interpret I'll do whatever it takes, they think that's taking 4 grams of gear. That's what they think it is, and then they realize nope, it's really the diet is the part. I've seen a lot of people always get mad at me when I tell them that I don't know why they get so. I put a thing up about diet this week, you know, being the most important part, and people got angry. People get angry when I say that.
So
that's because probably because a lot of them have spent a long time not focusing on diet. I mean, I certainly did. I trained for like 8 years. I was as strong as I was ever in my career before I ever took anything. I was just a fat, you know, football powerlifter look. It wasn't. No one ever asked me if I was a bodybuilder until I nailed in my diet, and that's why I got obsessed with it.
I had one guy telling me the diet wasn't that important. I'm like, really? I'm like, I don't know one pro bodybuilder that doesn't follow a structured diet. Not one.
No, especially in prep. Can you imagine like trying to compete and just like eating when you're hungry? You know,
winging it.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yep, Tanya nailed it.
Yeah,
I think whatever it takes is the precise hardcore protocol they have imagined. And nothing else.
Yeah, they're like, I'm ready to do a gram of trend, bro. And I'm like, all right,
here's the list of things that I've decided are what it takes. Tell me to do these things.
I'm like, let's start weighing and measuring all your food. And it's funny, like I gotta be careful calling clients out, but just like I guess clients that have fired me or whatever in the past doesn't matter. But like I remember one dude telling me that it was just too much food. He couldn't eat all this food in the off season. And I'm like, if you're like, really?
Well, you almost get offended at that. You don't take offense when people don't understand what it takes, or maybe, typically people come from an athletic background, have some understanding that they know what hard work is. So you can't get upset about that. But when, like that, like, what, you think this is easy? It's not fun. There's a lot of work. You're eating a lot. You're training really hard. It's not. It's like you almost get like offended. Like, you thought that's what, like, you thought Samson just kind of ate Subway when he was hungry and worked out a couple times a week, and that's all. No, it's a lot of food.
Well, it's the same thing with starting a business. I get guys, want to talk to me about starting a business. And I do some business consulting, and I'm like, all right, well, get ready to work 10 to 12 hours a day, 7 days a week for the next 5 years, and then maybe you'll be successful after that.
Probably not, because even then, most still fail. So,
yeah, I mean, you have a shot.
Yeah, people don't. We're starting your own business so you can work 80 hours a week to avoid the 40-hour work week.
Yeah,
everybody wants all the blessings, but then the blessings showed up looking like hard work, and no one wants to do it.
The harder I work, the luckier I get.
Yeah, I remember one guy telling me he wanted work-life balance, and I'm like, well, then just go get a fucking salary job, man.
We all do. Yeah.
Like, it's not. I mean, I was, my mother-in-law recently passed away, and I was literally had 4 guys fucking peaking that right at the same time. And I'm sitting there, trying to balance being there for my wife and answering texts. And I'm like, it's just like, this doesn't fucking stop, man. It's like, I can't shut it off.
Yeah, it's risk too. Like, like people think like they're going to start a business and they plan out the financial risk of everything of starting it. You don't realize, like, it never ends. You're always, then you get settled in and you're profitable. If you want to grow, guess what you're doing? You're risking it all, taking a chance, spending more money, growing the business, and it might fail. And you just do that over and over and over. It's all, it's always a huge risk. Every day you're like, well, shit, if I don't nail this, everything could go belly up. And it just always happens. It's that every day.
That's true with any endeavor. If you want to be successful, I mean, it just there is no.
If I work 24/7.
Yeah, I mean, there is no break. I mean, it's the same thing with bodybuilding. Like, if you really want to do great at bodybuilding, you kind of got to go all in.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing with work. I'm running a business. It's just it's not, and look, I'm not blaming anybody for wanting work-life balance. Believe me, it's I question it sometimes too if it's worth it. But it's don't expect to have balance if you want to achieve something super sick.
It's a different kind of work too. I keep moving my mic like it's working, but it's a different kind of work too, because you like a corporate job, you'll have time to be busy, but if your project is in between jobs, you might have weeks where you go in and you just have a couple hours of meetings a day. You don't do all that much. Just hang around the water cooler, you go out, get lunch, and then there's periods where it's busy. When it's your business, if you're working, you're not at work. You don't go into work and sit at a desk. You're working, and so it's it's like a 40-hour work week where you work every minute of 40 hours, and there are definitely hard jobs to do that, and like a lot of the tradesmen are rolling their eyes at me right now. They're like, yeah, that's what I've been doing. But like a typical corporate job, like as an engineer, we'd have periods where it was insane. But then we'd have periods in between jobs where like they don't even need you. You might have a month where before the next project starts and you're, like they can't fire you and then hire you in a month or find someone else. And so you're just kind of like, it's a slow period, and you get vacation days. You don't get those when you own a business. If you're on vacation, the business is still happening. So yeah, it's a different kind.
Well, and the contrast to that is that you're on call 24/7, but you also have the freedom, right, to work from Europe for 3 weeks on your laptop.
Yeah, no, that is a nice benefit.
Yeah, take the afternoon and go ride your motorcycle for 3 hours, and on your schedule.
That is a nice benefit. That is a there are trade-offs for everything. I will say this though, there's one boss I like working for, and that's me.
Yeah,
that's the only boss I really enjoy.
Well, the truth is, have you guys heard of Price's Law?
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of a more generalized law, but when it's applied to the workforce, it's basically the square root of the number of employees of any company you have to work. Yeah. And so you have like a little convenience store with 4 employees. Yeah, square root of 4 is 2. Half the people do have to work. And you can kind of imagine it grows, and maybe you got 10 employees, and you got 3 really hard workers, and then the other 6 or 7 are like a person working the front desk or the counter and who's just looking at the clock trying to get out, but they're doing the other half of the work. And that's why scaling gets so difficult, because by the time you get to like Apple, you got 10,000 employees, you have 100 people that the business basically depends on. You got some, brilliant developer where if he dies, your code base ends. You got a couple amazing salesmen. You got a brilliant CEO like Tim Cook or pretty like Steve Jobs, and then you got 9,900 other people who do the other half of the work. And it's not like they don't work hard. It's that there's just so much work. You need to be able to output and maintain business functionality at the highest level, the busiest day that you'll ever have. So you need an employee base for that. But every day is not like that. And so what do they do on the days when there isn't that workload? You're going to have some people with, and it's always, so you just kind of run into this wall where you just get further and further away, where a smaller and smaller percentage of the workforce is doing a higher and higher percentage of the work. And you can kind of see, like, that's why it's really hard to scale. And the companies that have scaled enormously are now, the reason they've got the $3 trillion valuations like Apple and stuff is because of software as a service, which is basically completely passive revenue generation, other than, the person who wrote the code originally to get the software going. But if you don't have that, it's a real, like Sears, it's amazing. Sears lasts as long as they did, because it's all employee based, and employees are doing the actual, work, working at the desk, moving things, working and shipping. And so I think it just got too hard for them to because you got 10,000 people and 100 of them are doing half the work. And one of those people leave or dies or anything, it's a big hit to the company. And it's like you have like this frailty early on in a company, then you go through this S curve of growth. And if you are able to make it to that massive size, you have another level of frailty that seems weird.
Well, you that may change with AI. All that, menial, like scalable work that you need done. That's basically just task work might get replaced by AI here
Oh,
soon.
it will. It will. Remember the Will Smith eating spaghetti AI video from like a year
Oh
ago?
yeah, definitely. That was
And now half the videos are out. I'm like, geez, I don't think that's AI. I mean, I'm not. In a year, we won't be able to tell. Like someone put in the comments, there's AI porn models making millions on Instagram, completely AI. No girl in any of those. So it won't be long. It'll be interesting though, because we're going to have to do universal basic income, which a lot of people hate. But there's going to be so much wealth generation because you're going to have all these robots working without tire, without sleep. And so they're going to be creating new products cheaper, which is all wealth generation. And that's going to create enormous, unbelievable wealth for the world at large, but it's going to be at the expense of the humans needing to do the labor to gather that wealth. So it's going to have to be distributed. And I think what people are going to find is, I think you always say like, yeah, it'll be great, universal income. Then the next Mozart will be free to be the next Mozart. It's like, no, that's not how it works. The next Mozart might be working as a waitress right now, but she's going to be the next Mozart, whether she's awake, you're not Einstein because you have to go to work every day. You're not Einstein because you're not Einstein. And that's not, I think people are going to be, I think it's going to be really rough. I think you're going to find, like, why are celebrities always depressed? They always seem like, it's like, yeah, you're a multi-million, you got a mansion. You guys are always like depressed. Well, you wake up in this massive home with no family, no one's there. Maybe you get some friends that stayed out after home, stay there after the party. You do that every day, nothing to do, no job to go to until your next film or whatever. You got nothing. It seems amazing, but the first week, sure it is. But you go a couple months where you just wake up and there's nothing, and it's you alone in this big home. And so I think there's going to be a lot of issues with depression when we get to that level. Because what's your purpose in life if you wake up and you have no reason to be awake?
Yeah, it's already at crisis level in this country anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll be honest with
you. A lot of that is because of our advancement already. Like primitive societies, they don't have words for depression. Why? Because you wake up and you're hungry. You catch a fish. It's the greatest moment of your life. How can you be depressed? You made a fire. That's the greatest day ever. You found a warm place to sleep. So it's like the bar to make an awesome moment is so low. All those things are met without effort anymore. And now we're left to find what makes us happy. Well, we never had that. We just had to wake up hungry and go find some food, and it was a great day.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. This year has been a little weird for me. I've been struggling with that a little bit myself because I got hurt, had surgery. I couldn't really bodybuild, and then there were periods of time where coaching was a little slower, and I had this extra time on my hands that I hadn't had before after I retired from my job. And I was just like, what the fuck do I do, man? And it kind of made me, yeah, I know. It kind of made me a little anxious, and I wouldn't say exactly depressed, but just down a bit. But then contest prep season started.
Yeah.
and then I've been crazy busy. So
contest season's different now. It used to be Saturday shows. So you got from the way I do it, guys would check in Sunday and Monday with their last sets of picks. I'd plan out the peak week. And then we'd be in contact Wednesday through Saturday morning. But now you got shows Wednesday through Sunday. And so it's literally the Sunday guys competed yesterday. And then today I wake up to all my 6-day outfits for the next week's guys, And then it used to be so much calmer during contest season where now it's madness.
Well, then I got guys in Europe too. So I just stay up late.
Yeah,
you got guys on the West Coast and then in Europe.
Yeah, you got your UK guys 5 hours ahead. You got your Singapore, Thailand, Australia guys. Those are they're a complete half day ahead differently. And so the worst is for me is I'll have someone competing in California, someone competing in the UK, and someone competing in Thailand. Yeah. And one's competing on Saturday, another one's competing on Saturday, but it's technically my Sunday, and the other guy's competing on Saturday, but it's really 2 a.m. my Friday night. It's oh my God.
I just had a guy in the UK and then another one on the West Coast, and so I'm just well, I'm just not going to sleep.
Yeah,
just go stay up, just fucking deal with it. But yeah, I enjoy helping people. I mean, it's been fun. I think I've done close to 50 preps this year. This has been haven't really. It's been a couple every weekend. Last weekend I didn't have any. That was in this weekend too. But then I've got 3 coming up this weekend. So back on the thing. All right, we want to get some other questions in. Sorry.
Okay.
This was
I've been
awesome.
getting on side rants today. This is definitely not anything to do with bodybuilding, but I love talking about
That's all
business and
great
life
stuff.
and
It's
AI.
interesting. Yeah, no, it's deep.
Yeah, but it is.
I
It's all about
feel like
bodybuilding, really.
I feel like Justin's like my soulmate when it comes to this stuff.
Well, we've had a real like starting a business, going down different paths. We both have like a weird kind of
we think very similarly on this stuff.
All right. So from AJ Aesthetics, we have 10 days out and have been watching all your carb cycling videos, which have been a huge help to me and got me shredded. Would you continue carb cycling even close to show day? I'm at my best look now.
I've been changing it up a little bit this year. I don't know. I've been kind of taking it easier on peak week. I kind of been spreading the carbs out over like a 2 or 3 day period rather than doing one big high carb. I mean, I guess the high carb day, we know what your limits are and how you're going to respond to those. But like I've been doing it a little bit differently this year, and I feel like I've been getting better results. Like generally 2 days, I'll spread it across 2 days where I push the food up. If somebody's really flat, I'll spread it across 3.
Yeah.
But I don't go as high with the carbs as I would with the normal high day, generally speaking. But if you're looking good, I kind of hold it there. It just depends, man. Like I really have not. I've kind of gotten away from having a prescribed plan. I just kind of see how people are looking and then adjust on the fly.
Yeah.
I'll say one. If you ask this on Troponin IQ, you'll get a full peak week written for you. It'll write you. It will do a whole peak week. I'm not, that'd be bad businessman if I didn't say that. So if you go in there and get your info, it'll write you a peak week. That'll work. But yeah, I would say the most important thing is be careful with peak week. Because anything you change can make you worse. Everyone thinks I'm going to do all these things and it's only going to be good, and I want to nail everything 100%. That attitude almost always guarantees you're going to look not how you want to look. Pick a few things that I make this change and I can only look better, and start there. And if you like the way you look now and you change a few things that will only make you better, maybe not dramatically better, but you shouldn't be trying to get dramatically better. You should. That was what prep was for. Now you just pretty enough to look. If you don't know what you're doing, pick a few things. Maybe pull water back a little bit the day before the show. Add some carbs a day. A day, maybe 2 days leading into the show. But stick to the same food. Just don't change everything and think like, okay, I've changed 500 things. Now I'm definitely going to be good. Because it's probably not going to happen. If you change 4 things that have almost 100% chance of making you better, you will be better. And if you're for anyone watching this right now, if you ever had the thought where like, I wish I could have looked the way I looked any day other than show day, that feeling. It's not a good feeling. You want to always, if you're 10 days out right now, if you can step on stage and be like, I'm better than I was 10 days out, take the win. You'll learn your body the more shows you do, but that's not guaranteed. A lot of people are going to look worse than they did at 10 days out and hate themselves for it.
Mm.
Yeah, I see that often.
Yeah, and if you can use the peak week too to eliminate over the peak week period to eliminate variables too, for like peak day, the show day. That's the less you have to do, the better. It's kind of like I've noticed the only reason I started carving people over a couple days is not just Paul's suggestions, but I've noticed like water manipulation seems to be a lot easier, like less fluctuation by carving people over a couple days. I've noticed that. So yeah, the less variables we have to play with and less thinking we got to do on show days, the better.
I think AJ sounds like he's self-coached, so I'd be curious to know Wade's thoughts on that. And also, like, how do you manage, what sounding boards did you use, Wade, in your prep to make those changes? Or did you just count your own self?
Dude, I mean, yeah, I'm self-coached, but believe it, I mean, I use actually a lot of stuff that like Paul talks about, man. I listen to like this guy's podcast for like forever, man. So I'd pick like little bits and pieces of stuff, but I really like Justin's ideas. I'm just like not changing too much and just kind of keeping things the same for the most part. That's what I do. I mean, I do like a carb up over like 3 days before the show, and then I mean, I keep like protein low, carbs a little bit high, kind of like what a high carb day would be. And then I just kind of play it by eye, really, Mike. But yeah, I try to keep the variables as low as possible though, and just try to stay as like stress free as possible too. I know that's like impossible. It's difficult just because you got the show coming, but yeah, just stress and variables low. But yeah, how about you with Pittsburgh?
Well, I can't do it without a coach, man. I've never been able to
What
do
did you do though?
As far as peak week goes, whatever Paul told me to. Like, I really couldn't remember because it's like I can't self-assess. Like you have a remarkable ability, and I don't think a lot of you to be able to look at yourself and assess. I look at myself and I'm either too fat or too lean or too something, and I need a calming voice to give me direction.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's like I still like ask for like advice from like other people at the gym. Like if I would have seen you more often, I would have been like, "Hey, Mike, what do you think? Want to check me out real quick?" So it's like, yeah, I'm self-coached in a sense, but I mean, it comes at like a lot of help from other people too. So,
and we talked a lot about it in prep. I mean,
you like threw a couple cool ideas to me too. Like you brought up the whole Winstrol thing too, and tried that. That actually helped a lot. But
I know Justin kept me on track last year. I was second guessing everything going into the last week. I thought I looked like shit.
Yeah, the easiest way to kind of realize this in real time is everyone who's been in prep knows they don't like their pictures in prep.
Yeah, that's for
sure. You look back at your prep pictures the next offseason, you're like, "Fuck, I look great." That's where your brain's at. It's almost not, it's much less likely a knowledge issue for most people, especially when you get to the higher levels. Like the guys at the Olympia with coaches, it's not that they don't know how to eat or peak, especially the guys that have done 50 shows. It's that your brain's just not logical. It's really difficult to be logical. And so if you really, the ideal coach would be, what works, how nutrition works. You maybe are a coach yourself. You find another coach whose knowledge base you trust completely, and then you let them be your logic. And if you run into a case during peak week where you're like, I would have done this differently. Why did you do this? Then if you have a good coach, they'll say, well, this is why I'm doing it this way, and this is why the way you want to do it is kind of risky. I think this would happen if we did that. And then you go, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm kind of in that weird prep lane, but now that you say that makes sense. That's kind of the ideal coach team, I think.
Yeah, that works for me. I don't know. I have a couple core principles. I know, like I do like having guys ready before peak week. If you're pushing on peak week to still get some fat off, it's probably not going to be a good result. I like pulling back training and cardio on peak week and letting people wash off a little bit of fatigue. We definitely want to fill you back out a bit, and then the last 48 or 24 to 36 hours dry you out. I mean, really, that's it.
Yeah, kind of. The same thing with like competitor age and quality and experience. Guys doing their first couple shows always want to be fuller than they should be. Conditioning wins shows. No one wins you don't want to be flat, but no one that's out of shape with too much body fat wins a show, and the judge are like, well, he was just too full. That doesn't work. So conditioning first, but then that kind of goes the wrong way, because then you get guys, that are more advanced, and they start hyper focusing on conditioning and being dry to the point that it causes them to be flat, to where now that conditioning doesn't show properly.
Yeah, I would say more often than not, it's the first problem. But you see two types on stage. You see the guy that over dieted, you see the guy that didn't diet enough. But I'd say more times than not, it's the guy that overdid it.
Yeah, the guy that shocks the audience in every big show, at every national, at every pro qualifier, is the absolutely inside out shredded guy. There's like 10 mass monsters on earth, and you're not going to compete against them because they're doing the Olympia. So you don't got to worry about that. When you got to worry about that, it's way down the road. But you go, like every year, you go like nationals, USA's, North Americans, and then light heavy walks out. And you could hide quarters in the lines in his glutes, and the audience gasps, and everyone knows he won the class before they even pose. No one cares what his weight is; they just know he is fully gutted out, shredded. And that's not just do that, because that's different. We all want that, so that's not easy to do. Period. But that should be priority one across the board. And if you are that shredded, you don't got to worry too much about fullness, and even better, you don't got to worry much about peak week, because you can't fuck it up. When you got no fat on your body, you don't hold excess water. When you have no fat in your body, you can spill a little bit and you still look dry. Everything's easier.
I was laughing after my show was over last year. The officials backstage were lining us up. The guy told me, he's like, "Yeah, we knew you won before you even went out on stage."
As a coach, you know that too. How many guys have you known? You don't want to like jinx it or tell them or make them.
Yeah,
nervous.
no.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, you know who won. You know when
Yeah, I just had my guy Carlos who won the overall last week, and I didn't tell him anything because I know he was disappointed with this last show. I don't want to psych him out, but I'm like, yep, he's got it this time. He's got this one wrapped up. But I don't like telling people one way or the other. Like if they're kind of looking shitty, sure. I'm like, I don't tell them either.
That's a tough one to work through because you don't want to lie to them. But if you tell someone they look like shit, that show is not going to go well for them. Even if they're going to look worse than shit.
Yeah, I don't want people stressing either way. I mean, if they get overly excited, that can go the wrong way too. But I just try to get people to stay medium.
That goes back to the lead backstage.
That's why I do the William Bonac. All right, I want to grab another one.
Yes. While we're talking about the Olympia, Justin, are you coaching anyone in the Olympia this year?
Yeah, Brandon Perry's doing it. So I don't want to say much, but we're way better than we were at the Arnold at this point. I mean, he had a great peak at the Arnold. So, like a lot of things stopped to happen, but he's better than he was at the Arnold. He's heavier, eating more, and in better condition. We're already, we're done dieting, really. We're adding calories back in now. But he's the lowest body fat I've ever seen, lower than he was at the Arnold, and his conditioning was good at the Arnold. So hopefully.
Yeah, you look great at the Arnold.
Yeah.
Wow. Justin, you coach Brandon Curry?
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome, man.
Yeah. Just he's the easiest coach. Every time I work with a top guy, I don't want to like badmouth any other coaches, but every time I work with a top guy, I'm like, how are these guys missing their peak? I say this is now he's going to miss his peak, and everyone's going to remember this, but they're so easy. Like those genetic elites, like everything works. It's not easy, but just things work the way they're supposed to. There's never any like secrets or mysteries. Like Paul, he's tricky because he has a runaway metabolism. Paul's always tricky because if you would have asked me 2 days before he turned pro, my brain was in the, oh man, I don't think we did. We didn't talk about it. But then, like, he dried out incredibly well. Part of it wasn't, happy way of doing it because he got some stomach issues. And then, he dried out. So, but the top guys, it's like, man, just everything works the way it's supposed to. Like you add carbs, they get fuller. You pour water, they get drier. There's nothing ever surprises you.
Yeah, I didn't think I looked good 2 days out. I got sick. I think I had COVID about 2 weeks out. Like I think about 2 weeks out, I looked my best, and then I got sick the week before.
For sure.
Oh no, I got sick. I was definitely sick going into the end. It was 2.5 weeks out, something like that. I had a cold or COVID or some shit. And then it kind of just went sideways. And then looking back on it now, my bicep tendon was torn, and I was dealing with that too.
Yeah.
I remember I was like Kurt was like looking at my pictures, and he's like, are you doing anything funny with your biceps? Because your brachialis is all like washed out. And I'm like I don't know. And but now I realize that it was because my fucking bicep tendon was torn.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And it was all inflamed, and it was inflammation up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what did you guys do like 2 days before the show then last year? That
a lot of diuretics.
Yeah, it was the drying out. Yeah, fair enough.
100 milligrams of aldactone.
Nope.
Not suggesting anybody should do that, but yeah,
that'll do it.
Half a diazide in explosive diarrhea from an electrolyte imbalance. So that got it done.
It'll dry you right out. All right, ready for the next one?
Yep.
Sure.
Vegan gains. How long does it take for the AI effects of EQ to kick in?
Go echo friend vegan gains. I mean, EQ is a slow burn. It's got a really long half-life.
Yeah, and then it's gotta inhibit the aromatase enzymes, and that's another second. So it's going to be a little slower than the EQ itself, but not by much, maybe like a day or two. But I would say probably similar to the blood concentration of EQ. It probably peaks around 2.5 weeks if you're doing frequent injections, maybe 3 or 4 weeks if you're doing like weekly injections. So probably around that frame. It's
Yeah, what I've seen is it sneaks up on you too. It's like you feel fine, you feel fine, you feel fine, and then like for me, it's like a month and a half into it, and I'm like, then it's smashed, and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, do not get blood work and trust your hormone levels if you're on like week 2 of an EQ cycle, because your estrogen is going to be a different number at week 4.
Yeah. All right, want to get one more in, and then we can wrap this up.
Yes, we had this one I thought was a really good one. This is from Mike's on a Plane. Hey guys, I'm currently looking for a new doctor. What and where are some good things to ask or look for finding one that's supportive or at least understanding of the way we want to live as builders?
That's I wish I had a good answer for that one, because I've been looking for one for years.
It's like the find a 4-leaf clover.
Yeah.
Just
my current physician.
That's it.
Yeah, my current physician is like crazy about even like creatine. He's just like, oh, you can't be on creatine. Like that's crazy. You got to get off that. It's like, dear God, if this guy knew.
You can kind of understand. I mean, it's going to be hard to find someone because their job is to not have you die and not get sued.
Yeah,
they don't your muscle. You know, it's really that's just what their job is, and they're not.
True.
You know, so they anything they don't know a ton about, and you know they know like maybe it's bad. They're not going to go home and spend 4 hours researching for one patient. It's a job for them. You know, so they ain't going to work like all of us, and so you know. They're just always going to err on that side of caution. So you might get lucky and find someone who was into the sport at one point, or maybe still is, or like seems like guys that end up finding someone at a gym. You know, like they meet a guy at the gym and he's a GP, and they're like, oh, no kidding, yeah, you know. And then you see them, and they're but it's pretty rare.
I would ask around your gym. I would say that osteopaths
that's funny.
seem to be. Yeah, my doc told me creatine was bad, and that's why I asked. Yeah, I would say look for an osteopath. Usually osteopaths tend to be more open-minded.
Yeah, they have medical school experience where they're presented with more, you know, alternative approaches to treatment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would also be what I would say is that you likely will not find one that's in your insurance, perhaps, that is going to be the best to work with, but like finding a self-pay functional medicine doctor or concierge medicine doctor, they're gonna have a lot more time and ability to address your concerns. But Paul, you've been working with concierge medicine, and how have you found that experience?
I had a bad experience for a while, and then now I'm decent. The doctor I'm with now is a concierge doctor, and she is an osteopath. And she's not very familiar with our demographic, but she seems to be very open-minded about things, and she's kind of learning with me. My endocrinologist that I'm seeing right now, finally found a good endocrinologist, is very
nice,
very, very good. The cardiologist that I see, he was a former team doctor for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh.
So he is very familiar with our world.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest key with concierge medicine is that they do have time. You know, they have the time to research, and at least they have a bit more time to listen as well, meaning they'll actually like sit down with you and go through things, and they're not just going to be so blunt, like, if you don't stop taking creatine, I'm not going to be your doctor anymore. You know, it's not going to be like that with a concierge medicine doctor, but you're also going to pay them a lot. I mean, I think at least in the area of the country that I live in, most concierge medicine doctors are, with just the retainer for them, is anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000 a year.
Damn,
and then of course the cost of, you know, tests on top of that. I mean, the good thing is that anything they send you out for, you know, your insurance might likely cover, you know, calcium scores, CTs, all those kinds of things are going to be covered by your insurance perhaps, but I don't know that you're going to have good luck in network.
Surprisingly, you know, if you look hard enough, my concierge doctor does cover my, does work with my insurance.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
sweet.
It's really rare.
I pay $3,600 a year for it.
Yeah. Sounds pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, you know, people spend more than that on a bodybuilding coach. So if you get a good doctor, I mean, I would say, you know, and, you know, she'll pretty much, like, she's very open-minded about prescriptions. Like, I'll tell her, you know, look, I would prefer to run rosuvastatin over, another type of, you know, a lipophilic statin. She was open-minded about that. You know, just she did refer me to the cardiologist, but the cardiologist was like, yeah, no, it's you seems like you know what you're talking about. That's a good choice. I would run that instead. You know, it was like retatrutide.
So I'm sorry. I just wanted to, just from experience, you have to kind of be careful with doctors because they see a lot of people who come in, you know, ready to fight with their Google flu, who have no like knowledge of the medical, you know, and so they run into that all day. Someone who comes in, looked up something on the internet, and now wants to teach them how to be a doctor. So you kind of you have to like really massage the conversation.
Yeah.
You know, not to come and be like, I Googled this, and then they're just going to dislike anything you say at that point.
No, I just, the way I frame it, I'm like, hey, you know, look, I've had problems in the past with, you know, like the way I framed the statin discussion. I've had problems in the past with muscle pain and I've had tendon tears from lifting. What do you think about using a lipophilic versus a hydrophilic, or a hydrophilic versus a lipophilic statin? What are your thoughts on that? I just ask.
Yeah, and that's a perfect way to word it, because then you're not like saying I looked something up and I want to do this. You're saying I had a bad experience with this. In your medical professional opinion, would this help work better for me? You kind of, you know.
You can massage it by the way you frame. Yeah, if you go in, you know, and I used to have the same thing. I used to do IT consulting, and I'd have people come in with all the Google research on what their problem was, and I'd be like, yeah, no. I've been doing this for 20 years and have a degree. You have a research query.
Yeah. Oh, you went to the Google University of Medical Knowledge?
Everybody is.
Yeah.
I wish it was still just Google. People come in now and they're like, well, I saw this on TikTok. I literally had a patient
that's the
come in
worst.
who saw on TikTok that her implants would melt in the sauna. And I said to her, I said, do your organs melt in the sauna?
We
She
didn't
said
talk
no.
about that.
Yeah, but I could see it in her eyes that she still didn't believe me that her implants would not melt in the sauna.
I just somehow got on a thread where it was doctors giving all their best experiences of that, of things like that, and some of them were outrageous. It's like, you know, I talked to my aunt. She's really into mysticism, and you know, they tell me something that's going to kill them basically, and the doctor's like, yeah, you know, I told them, even if I wanted to prescribe that, I don't want to get sued when you die on the way home.
My cardiologist, he's a certified lipidologist, and he was just telling me the stories about some of the people he gets come in with their Google and social media searches on heart disease and lipidology, and he just is like, it's just unbelievable. And he goes, they come in, they need a stent, and they're telling me that, you know, this wasn't the problem. You know, it wasn't their diet or their genetics or anything.
Are you sure my heart attack was from a blocked artery? Because I don't know if you noticed, but I got my pinky in the car door like a month ago, and ever since then, my chest has been hurt.
He's like, I literally have to put stents in them and tell them they need to eat a low-fat diet, and they tell me that that was not the problem. I'm like, well, I mean, you know, hey.
I think, you know, it's a challenge to doing what we do and then existing within the, you know, modern Western healthcare system. And, you know, my own experience is just like sort of taking responsibility for putting together my own care team, right? Like I have my HRT doctor I can review blood work with, and he's not going to like pull the rug out from under me like Ryan was just saying because my levels are too high. But I'm also very honest with my general practitioner about everything that I take, so that he knows that, you know, there's a blip on the screen somewhere. He knows how to point it out. But I think, you know, putting together your own care team and taking some responsibility for it, you can still exist within the confines of your insurance company and everything else.
Yep.
Without spending big bucks on concierge medicine.
I do a ton of consult calls, and the majority of the consult calls that I do are blood work reviews. And usually what I'm doing is going through and telling guys like, hey, you know, here's what you need to talk to your doctor about, and how you frame it, and how you go in and approach this with the physician. And then sometimes you just need a fucking new doctor. Some doctors just fucking suck.
For sure.
I've had that a few times where the doctor just sucked. I had a doctor refuse to, you know, just insisted that I was a type 2 diabetic. And I'm like, bro, I'm 5% body fat. Like, I'm not a type 2 diabetic. I promise you.
Yeah.
Like wouldn't even test my fasted insulin levels. I'm like, how do you know that? You just made up your mind?
Yeah, it's no good, man.
Now, I shouldn't have to say this, but I always feel like I do in these because we as a community we always end up just kind of bashing doctors because all we talk about is our bad experiences. But so good doctors are good doctors, and it's like I hate that we always just we have everyone going into the doctor's office thinking they're going to talk to an idiot, where that's not the case. They might not be a specialist in trenbolone, but doctors aren't all idiots, but in any, like you go to any medical school and every graduating class says the people graduate top of their class and the bottom of their class, so it's like anything, you're going to get a range of people. So find someone you trust in life,
and be
people
honest with them. I think that's the key too. You can't judge your doctor for not addressing things that you were not honest about.
Yeah,
it's true.
And keep in mind they are human beings. People do have their own biases and thoughts on things.
Oh my God! Recent events of the past week have shown that.
I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole.
That was like the main thing I'm taking from that is you realize that like every time you're talking to a professional, you don't think it. You think you're talking to them as a professional, but people are people and they have their biases and opinions and they're getting worse.
Yeah, they're getting worse. All right, folks, I got to wrap this up. I got some speaking of consult calls, I got 3 of them this afternoon. I got to go get ready for my first one. Appreciate each and every one of you.
Losing.
Hey, good for them.
Interjecting. They're already 3. They're down by they're already down by 3. So yeah, I got to get to watching a great game.
All right, folks, we'll see you next week on the next episode. Take care.